Hey guys, it's Kyra and welcome back to my channel. Today's video will be my very first beauty product review video here on this channel. In today's video, I'll be reviewing the Black Radiance True Complexion Shine Primer. I actually used this primer in my very last tutorial, the one that I did that was the Golden Sunset Smoky Eye. I used this primer in that video and I had mentioned that it was new. I was still testing it out. But I want to go ahead and do a full review for you guys because it is only $5. Actually, I believe it's like $4.97, I think. So it's pretty inexpensive. And I had actually picked this up because I had heard a lot of good things about it. And even though I do prefer to use my Becca primer, which is my holy grail primer, on days where I'm going to be out for a long period of time, or just whenever I want to do like a full glam look and I want to stay really matte all day, because I personally prefer a matte look. And I'm also very oily, so that primer, you guys, just helps to kind of combat everything, like keeps it all in place. But for more like everyday wear and just days whenever I'm doing makeup to go run out to run an errand, or running, you know, to go to dinner one night, or just like for church, you know, just things like that where I have to do my makeup but not for a very long amount of time and I don't want to waste my expensive primer on those days, I want to go ahead and try the Black Radiance True Complexion Primer and see if this will hold up to my skin, and see if it'll work out to kind of substitute this as a cheaper primer for those you know, less important days, I guess you'd say. So this I actually picked up from Walmart. I picked it up from Walmart back in Houston whenever I went home one weekend. I picked this up and it was it's $4.98 at Walmart. And this is a tube. It looks like it has 0.84 fluid ounces in the product. So not a whole lot of product, but I believe with this product a little bit goes a long way. So it's just a small black tube, nothing fancy here. And I'm going to read what it claims to do, and then I'll go into actually applying the product and the wear test. Alrighty, so this product here claims to absorb oil to minimize shine, keeps makeup looking fresh and natural, and smooths and preps skin. And the directions that they say is to shake it well, dot on nose, cheeks, chin, forehead, then blend until completely absorbed. So I'm going to go ahead first and shake it up. So I'm going to go ahead and apply the primer, give you guys my initial thoughts, and then from there I'll go ahead and do my whole face, come back, tell you guys what I think about the primer so far, how it looks on my skin and everything with the foundation on top of it, and then I'll do a wear test throughout the day, kind of give you guys updates on how it looks, you know, hours later. Now, right now it is 2:30 p.m. So I'm going to go ahead and dot the foundation on. Oops, see, I feel like this already is too much. It's like I never know how much to use with this product, because whenever I think I'm applying a little bit of the product, I always end up with too much, and I'm pretty sure this little dot right here is too much. I can already tell. So as you can see, first off the bat, it is a white consistency, and to me it comes off like a lotion, to be honest, which is, see, look at that, it's just too much already. Yeah. So clearly, like one dot, like I know this is too much right here. Well, this isn't as bad. But like one or two dots is all you need really with that product. And yeah, it feels a lot like a thick lotion, to be completely honest. It's not watered down or anything, which is good. And again, they did mention to go ahead and rub it in until it absorbs to the skin. So I want to keep rubbing it until there's no like white residue left. Like so. So it's all rubbed in. I don't have anything sitting on top of the skin. It's just pretty well massaged into the skin. See, that was too much of my nose. Now, this is an expensive primer. I would be a little upset that I'm wasting so much product. It's like, I applied way too much. But again, it is only less than $5, so you know, I'm not gonna die. I'll be okay, I'll be okay. So again, just rubbing it all the way into the skin until it completely absorbs. It feels just like lotion. Literally, just like lotion. So we have everything rubbed in to the skin. There's no excess product sitting on top of the skin. Now, first off the bat, I will notice that this product doesn't really leave much of a residue, which can be a good thing and it can be a bad thing. I say that because on my skin tone, I typically like products, it's weird because I typically like products that kind of leave a little residue because, or like a little film on top of the skin. For example, the Becca Poreless Perfecting Primer and also the Makeup Forever Matte Primer, both of those are basically the exact same product, and both of those, whenever you apply it, it leaves a thin film, which to me, that kind of just reminds me of like a barrier. Like that film or that layer that's on top of the skin, it reminds me of a barrier, or like it's acting as a barrier between the oil, you know, from my skin and the foundation. And I feel like that's why it holds up so well. So for this to not leave anything, it makes me a bit nervous because, like I said, I am used to products that do have some kind of film or layer on top of the skin. But again, this is completely, you know, sunken into my skin and there's no excess product there. But it can also be a good thing because that means that my foundation should go on really smoothly. I shouldn't have any issues with the product messing with the foundation. It should basically be like one seamless process whenever it comes to applying the foundation. I shouldn't have anything, you know, wacky going on. This is how it looks so far. I can definitely say that this foundation does not help to blur out your pores at all. I feel like my pores are still saying hi. They still hanging out right there. They're still prominent, not blurred out or anything. So this is definitely not a primer for smoothing out pores, but the description was focused mainly on just mattifying. This is what it looks like so far. Pretty nice and regular. So I'm gonna go ahead and do my face routine. I'll go ahead and do foundation, concealer, powder, all that good stuff, and then come to you guys whenever I'm done. Went ahead and did my whole face, lips, brows, or finished off my brows, mascara, and all that good stuff, highlighter, all that good stuff. So I am now done, and I'm gonna give you guys my first, or I guess first impressions on this look, and then of course I'll do a couple updates throughout the day. Just right off the bat, I'm looking at the mirror right now, and clearly my face is extremely matte, which I like. I mentioned earlier that I really prefer a full matte look. So definitely starting off, I'm working with a completely matte face, which is good. We'll see how it holds up throughout the day, but honestly, right now, my makeup and everything looks really, really good. I will say that my pores, though, don't look as big as they did before. And of course, that's because of the foundation and powders and all that. All that stuff kind of helps to minimize the pores and everything. Definitely not blurred out by any means, but they look a lot better than they did whenever I just had the primer on, because I was a little worried at first. This is basically how my makeup will look with me normally just applying the Becca primer as far as pores go. Of course, whenever I do go ahead and apply the Tarte Clean Slate primer, my pores are a lot more smooth, but I did not apply that here, so they're looking just normal. And they're not too big and crazy and sticking out, so that's a good sign. Nose and everything is intact. T-zone area is pretty okay. Forehead, cheekbone, all that. These are the areas that get the oiliest, which is the T-zone here. So my forehead, nose, and my two cheek areas, those are the areas that we will have to look at to see how they hold up throughout the day. And also just in general, kind of how my makeup kind of holds together. Will it fall into fine lines? Will it kind of stay put together nice and flawless and airbrushed as it looks right now? Just kind of seeing how it holds up throughout the next couple hours. So with that being said, here is the first look. Now with my hair, this is like the first look. The foundation starting off, and we will see how it looks in a few hours. So I will come back to you guys in a couple hours and let you guys know how. Hey guys, so first of all, I am on a different camera. Clearly I'm not on my filming camera, I'm just on my vlogging camera. But I want to come to you guys and give you guys an update on how my makeup is holding up so far. I believe it's almost 7 o'clock. Yeah, 6:52. Timestamp right there, 6:53 now. And it's been, I can't remember what time I did the last one, but I think it might have been around 3 or 3:30. So it's been about 3 hours, 3.5 hours later. And makeup is holding up really well. I was staring in the mirror, and one thing I noticed is that I'm not oily. Well, take that back. My nose is a bit oily. I don't know if you guys can see there, but my nose is pretty oily. You kind of tell right there around where I highlight my nose right there. It's a little bit oily right there. My forehead is not oily at all. And then my cheek area is a bit oily, but it's not really. Actually, no, take that back. It is oily. Yeah, it's really oily, but it doesn't look bad. Now, granted, I have not blotted at all. Typically, if my face looked like this, I would just blot and be on my way. So I don't look bad at all. Like, I could easily just blot real quick with tissue and be okay. And it doesn't even look really bad as far as the cheek area goes. It doesn't really look really oily. It just looks like my natural oils have kind of, you know, made my, I don't know, it looks like my natural oils have kind of just like started to peep through. And now my makeup, it just looks kind of, it kind of just has that dewy look, if that makes sense. Okay, so this lighting in here, you guys, is not the best. So I don't know if you guys can tell exactly where the oiliness is. So yeah, again, here in the nose area, I'm oily there. And then here on the sides of my face, I'm pretty oily. And honestly, it's really only oily like right here, this little area right there, and this, yeah, you can see right here. This little area right there is pretty oily. Then this little area right here is pretty oily. So if I just go in and dab that, and my nose, now we are back to matte. So no more oiliness right here, no more oiliness right there, and then on the nose area. And I did actually just take a nap. Like, I legit just woke up from an hour nap. So this kind of shows you guys how makeup held up throughout a nap. Still looking pretty good. I can't complain, honestly. Like, I think it's actually doing pretty good for it to be a $5 primer. And if any of y'all have been on the primer struggle bus, where you guys have been looking and looking and looking for primers. I went to that stage for a long time. So if any of you guys have gone through that primer struggle bus, then this is actually pretty good compared to a lot of primers that I've tried. Still not comparable to the Becca, to be honest. I'm not gonna even try to say that those are the same. But again, if I'm looking for everyday use or running errands, things like that, after it looking like this for 3 hours, this is definitely worth the buy. Hey you guys, so it is now 10:27 exactly on the dot. So it's about 3 hours later from the last, or actually I think it's more than 3 hours. I don't remember the last time. I think it's like 5 something or 6 something, 6:40, something like that. I don't know, but it's basically been about 3, maybe 3.5 hours since the last update, and this is what our skin looks like right now. Granted, this camera doesn't help blur out everything, but hopefully you guys can kind of get an idea of how my skin looks. So I'm looking in the mirror right now, and I do have some oiliness like right here on the sides of my nose, but actually kind of this whole nose area I'm pretty oily, and then again in the cheekbone area, really just right in here is where the oiliest. I hope you guys can see how oily I am right here in my pores. You guys are saying hi, how are you? Yeah, but I'm pretty oily right here. But you guys, surprisingly, this is about normal for me if I don't use the Becca primer, if that makes sense. So like the Becca primer does a bomb job of basically keeping me pretty matte most of the day. Now I will have to blot once, maybe twice throughout the day with the Becca primer, but it kind of keeps me, you know, pretty much together. But this primer, you guys, is not far off from that, to be completely honest. Like this is almost normal for me with that primer. So I'm actually pretty surprised, especially because this primer costs $5 and the Becca costs $36 or whatever, however much it cost. It's like way more expensive, but it's not too far behind that primer. And I will note that I did not blot. The only time I blotted was whenever I blotted in the last update a couple hours ago, and I just did a couple dabs right here into my nose, and that was all I did. So I have not touched my face at all. This is literally what it looks like. Right now, I am not getting grease ball vibes at all. So I honestly am actually quite impressed. Yeah, I would give this one about a 7 out of 10 because it doesn't look that bad, you guys. So definitely thumbs up to Black Radiance for producing a pretty good drugstore primer. Definitely pleased, and I would have to say that I would recommend this for oily girls. Again, a cheaper option. I wouldn't say that I would use this for like a formal event or somewhere where I have to wear makeup for a long period of time. But overall, again, thumbs up to Black Radiance, y'all. I think that this is a really good quality primer. That is it for this review and this word test. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also subscribe and like as well. And I will catch you all in the next video. Bye, you guys.